Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtottara Shatashesham His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj srimadbhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Can you please bring the book, Jamal? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 This morning we are reading from Srimadbhagavatam, Canto 4, titled Creation of the Fourth Order. Chapter 9, Jiva Maharaj returns home. Text 51. Tam shasham shurjana rajnim Dishyate putra artiha Pratilabdascharim nashto Dakshita mandala bhuvaha Tam shasham shurjana rajnim Dishyate putra artiha Pratilabdascharim nashto Dakshita mandala bhuvaha Tam shasham shurjana rajnim Dishyate putra artiha Pratilabdaschiram nashto Rakshita mandala bhuvaha Dishyate putra artiha
pratilabdashchiram nashto rakshita mandalam bhuvaha Dhansa samshurjanarajim Drishyate putra artiha Pratilabdashchiram nashto Rakshita mandalam bhuvaha Dhansa samshurjanarajim Drishyate putra artiha Pratilabdashchiram nashto Rakshita mandalam bhuvaha.
Word by word translation. Tam. Unto Queen Suniti. Shasham Shuhu. Offered praise. Janaha. The people in general. Yajnim. Unto the Queen. Dishya. By fortune. Te. Your. Putraha. Son. Artiha. Will vanquish all your pains. Pratilabdaha. Now returned. Chiram. Since a long time. Nashtaha. Lost. Lakshita. Will protect. Mandalam. The globe. Bhuvaha. Earthly. Translation. The residents of the palace praised the queen. Dear queen, your beloved son was lost a long time ago, and it is your great fortune that he now has come back. It appears, therefore, that your son will be able to protect you for a very long time and will put an end to all your material pangs. That's true, because Dhruva Maharaj takes her back to Godhead and frees her from all of the material pangs. Avyarchitas tvaya nunam bhagavan pranatartiha yad anudyayino dira mrityum jighu sudurjayam. Dear Queen, you must have worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who delivers his devotees from the greatest danger. Persons who constantly meditate upon him surpass the course of birth and death. This perfection is very difficult to achieve. Purport. Dhruva Maharaj was the lost child of Queen Suniti, but during his absence she always meditated upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is able to rescue his devotee from all dangers. While Dhruva Maharaj was absent from his home, not only did he undergo severe austerities in the forest of Madhuvan, but at home also his mother prayed to the Supreme Lord for his safety and good fortune. In other words, the Lord was worshipped by both the mother and the son, and both were able to achieve the supreme benediction from the Supreme Lord. The word Sudurjayam, an adjective which indicates that no one can conquer death, is very significant. When Dhruva Maharaj was away from his home, his father thought that he was dead. Ordinarily, a king's son, only 5 years old and away from home in the forest, would certainly be supposed dead. But by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not only was he saved, but he was blessed with the highest perfection. Om Gyanativarandasya Garanjana Shalakaya Chakshulannalitamyana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karivachalam Pangam Langate Grimya Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurundevi Tadaram Vancha Kaptribhishcha Kripasindibevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaurabhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'll just read the 2 verses again. The residents of the palace praised the queen. Dear queen, your beloved son was lost a long time ago, and it is your great fortune that he now has come back. It appears, therefore, that your son will be able to protect you for a very long time and will put an end to all your material pangs. Dear queen, you must have worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who delivers his devotees from the greatest danger. Persons who constantly meditate upon him surpass the course of birth and death. This perfection is very difficult to achieve. So when people have to go through difficulties, there's certain, you could say, pressure put on them, whether it's social pressure or you could say health difficulties, or so many challenges that one may have to undergo. And usually people have to do that. They have to undergo many challenges. And they can't really deal with the pressure. A lot of people, they can't deal with the pressure. They can't rise to the occasion to face the challenges, and therefore they give up. And in many cases, or in many cases nowadays, people there's so much pressure, they just commit suicide. There's pressure for them to do well in school from their parents. Like there's one family here. So much pressure was put onto the son to do well in school. And then, Indian, yeah. And then the son the father came home one day and the son killed himself. He was in the bathroom, he just killed himself. And that happens all the time. So much pressure is put on us at times, whether it's pressure to do well in school or pressure for this or that, or so many different things. And again, people just give up. They just commit suicide. So similarly, within Krishna consciousness, there's also pressure being put on us all the time. Pressure from Maya, trying to challenge us and beat us up and all that, and pressure from Krishna. He's given us services. He's given us things to do. He's given us challenges. So many people, they can't work well under pressure, and they just give up. Within the brahmachari realm of existence, also that's the case, that there's pressure. And in other words, there's challenges. And many brahmacharis just say, okay, well, this is just too challenging. It's just too challenging to control my senses. It's too challenging to control my mind. It's too challenging to try to overcome my lust and my selfishness. And they just say, okay, fine, let me just give up. Throw in the towel or throw in the gamsha. And then they just want to join the herd of sensual beasts, namely the materialistic herd of entities, the herd of sensual beasts, in which their only concern really is, and then Shukadeva Goswami explains that in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, that they work very hard day and sometimes night for their money. And on the weekends, in essence, this is what he's saying, they spend the money shopping, right? Or the weekdays they go shopping for the family. And at night, they waste their time in sex life or sleeping. And then that's all they do with their human form of life. That's all they do. And they take that as a wonderful thing. But as Prabhupada would say so many times, he said it's just polished. It's just polished animalism. So, but unfortunately, people, they think, oh, well, it's just too difficult. I just can't control my senses. Just too difficult. So I'll just give up and join everybody else in their animal endeavors. So that's a mistake, because yes, it is difficult, and practically, due to one's conditioning, due to how the society is set up, it's nearly impossible. But by the mercy of the spiritual master, by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, by the mercy of Krishna, anything's possible, and one can overcome everything, any type of challenge that may seem impossible, and in many cases is. So, like Dhruva Maharaj here, he's a 5-year-old boy going out to the forest. And in most cases, as it's saying in the purport here, anybody and everybody would just consider, oh, he's dead. He went out to the forest, and how is he gonna, what is he gonna eat? Is he gonna die from being so cold out there, right? There's no mention he brought any blankets or a sleeping bag. He just, maybe, I don't know, but he just went out. Yeah, the animals, the tigers, and the whatever else is out there, hungry. So some people just, oh, he's just dead, right? But by the mercy of Vishnu, by the mercy of Krishna, he stayed alive and met Narada Muni and became self-realized, the highest perfection of life. So it's an impossible, practically speaking, an impossible endeavor, what he wanted to do, go out there as a small boy, just the fact of him being a small boy. And the second thing is him wanting to achieve what he wanted to achieve. That also would seem impossible. A kingdom greater than his father and his grandfather and his great-grandfather. It's impossible to achieve for a young boy, and practically for anybody. But also, that was done by Krishna. That was done by Krishna. He was surviving by Krishna's grace, and he achieved that kingdom by Krishna's grace. So similarly, whatever seemingly impossible things that devotees may have to deal with or challenge, them, they could overcome them. And that's an important point. That's practically one of the most important points in Krishna consciousness, is just not to give up. Because once you give up, that's it. you know, yeah, it's hard to come back again, and you may not come back for a few lives. So yes, our minds may wander. Minds may, go into so many different worlds. The world of. There's so many different types of worlds. The world of cars, the world of sports, the world of this, the world of that, whatever. Video game. The mind just could wander into so many different directions. But the idea is, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Bring the mind back. And if we're fortunate, then our minds won't wander too long of a distance. Means some people's minds, they wander, it's like, they're 18 years old and, their mind wanders off into some realm and they get kind of trapped in that realm, right? And then they come back 20 years later, 10 years later, oh, hey, come back to the temple. Do I say, hey, where'd you go? Oh, I just got a little sidetracked, there's a nice family here. They were coming recently, but I remember seeing her years ago. And then I saw her again in her family. I said, oh, hello, nice to see you, Hare Krishna. And then we were speaking, and then they realized that they haven't been around the temple in 8 years. Since the daughter was in middle school or something. And then they were shocked, they were surprised. Oh, wow, we just got really caught up in school and homework and this and that. And so 8 years, it's... So we may wander, our minds may wander, right, for 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day, 2 days, but we're lucky if it, we come back quickly. So, and also here, interesting point was that absent, not only did he undergo severe stairs in the forest, but at home also his mother prayed to the Supreme Lord for his safety and good fortune. So that, so his mother was praying for him, Dhruva Maharaj. And that's an important point. Not necessarily that our mother prays for us. That's good if our mothers are praying for us, if our mothers are around still. But that we have somebody praying for us. Somebody praying for us. And specifically, if we have devotees who are more advanced, or devotees who are more well situated in Krishna consciousness, wishing us well, that's even that's the best. So in other words, we need to get the blessings of great personalities so they could be wishing us well, and by wishing us well, Krishna will be wishing us well. Krishna's always wishing us well, but he has special mercy. He'll have special mercy on us because a pure devotee, advanced devotees are praying for us. He'll have special mercy, rather than us having no blessings of any advanced devotees and us trying to, ourselves endeavor to pray. At least speaking for myself, who am I? No one special. So it can't just be an individual endeavor. We need others to pray for us as well as us praying for ourselves. And Srila Prabhupada, when he initiated my spiritual master, he wrote, it was by letter, by mail, and he said, Prabhupada said to him in the letter that I marked your person in Boston as a very sincere boy, and I prayed to Krishna that may this boy please understand the importance of Krishna consciousness. So my spiritual master relates that he felt that because Srila Prabhupada was praying for him to Krishna, he felt that Krishna had special mercy on him, and therefore he's able to stay for so many years within Krishna consciousness. So yeah, we need the blessings, we need the good wishes of all devotees, and people in general too. We really need that in order to be successful. And therefore we have to be in the mood of service to them, and service to everybody. It's not that we just serve people who are supremely qualified. We serve everybody, whether they're qualified or not, in different ways. By book distribution, that's service, serving people. By prasadam distribution, by so many different ways we serve people. And by that service, we will get blessings, we'll get their good wishes, and also we'll get the blessings of Krishna ultimately. And we should never underestimate that, which probably many times we do, but we shouldn't. And really, when ultimately, this is what we have to understand, we have to understand the mission of Srila Prabhupada, what he came to do, and try to align ourselves with that mission. And really what he was really on fire to do was to, like he wrote a letter to Tamal Krishna Goswami, he said, you want to know my desire? He said, it's no secret. I want that, you to preach, and I want you to bring as many people as possible and engage them in chanting and dancing and taking prasadam and them being happy. That's my desire. So he told him that. So somehow or other, if we could assist in that, bringing people, and then when they're here, taking care of them in different ways. And book distribution, it is a very important way to do that. Because Srila Prabhupada said, he said, if you want to know me, read my books. He said, the best of me is in my books. So he put everything into his books himself, and you get that association by the instruction. So by book distribution, you're giving people the association of a pure devotee, Paramahamsa Vaishnava, Srila Prabhupada. And by that association, Srila Prabhupada's preaching to them. And after all, how long can we preach to somebody? Sometimes we don't want to preach to them at all. They're hippies, they're new age people, talk a bunch of Mayavadi nonsense. They're a woman, whatever. There could be so many reasons we don't want to preach to people. They're smelly, they're ugly. Prabhupada doesn't care if they're ugly, they're smelly, they're woman, they're this, they're that. He doesn't care. But we may care. So whatever the case, we should preach to people. But my point is that in Srila Prabhupada's books, he's there in his books, and when he, in the form of his books, goes to somebody's house, that book sits there on their shelf, if they have a bookshelf, or on their desk or coffee table or whatever, in their bathroom. Bhishma found one of Prabhupada's books in a bathroom, Science of Self-Realization. Bhishma Dev. So, yeah. He was looking through the different, things, and he saw Prabhupada's book. So, Prabhupada's so merciful, he'll go to the bathroom, and preach to people while they're, in the bathroom. I mean, how merciful is that, right? So my point is that even if we go to somebody's house, sometimes we go to people's houses, right? Devotees' houses, people. We give a class, we spend an hour, 2 hours, maybe we spend a day or two, but then we're like, all right, we got to move on, we got things to do, other places to go. See you later. But Srila Prabhupada, in the form of his books, he'll stay on that bookshelf. How long will he stay on that bookshelf? 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, waiting. And if somebody's reading it, he'll preach to them as long as they want to be preached to. An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours. So it's quite an amazing thing. We're limited, but if we distribute Prabhupada's books, then the message can be distributed unlimitedly, and therefore Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur would call it the Brihat Mridanga, the big Mridanga, because it could be heard all around the world. All the books are going all around the world. Now, the books are convincing people to do what? Engage in the process of bhakti, chant Hare Krishna, as the main process for this age. So, we could do both. We could distribute books, give people Prabhupada's association, which Prabhupada said, hundreds of times, and he liked that very much, and engage in the process of chanting Hare Krishna. Both. So, So in this way, we back to the point of serving people, that there's a practical way how to serve people. And we need blessings. We need blessings of everybody. So we serve them by book distribution. We serve Prabhupada by book distribution. We're serving pure devotee by book distribution, by preaching efforts. In this way, they will see, they'll be affectionate towards us. And because of that affection, we'll be able to remain in Krishna consciousness. We may not be, pure and this and that, but at least we'll be able to remain in Krishna consciousness. And without that, then we just kind of, and it's like a shooting star, right? It's like, it's all up in the air, and wow, look at that, it's very beautiful, and then it's gone. So all of one's services and this and that and whatever, smiles and laughs and jokes and shloks and stories and book distribution and harinam and all this, and it's up in there, and then it's gone, And then what does the person do? They join the herd of sensual beasts, and just become an ordinary, mundane vikarmi, which is the worst thing you could do. Be a materialistic devotee, okay, fine. Just don't be a vikarmi. Whatever it is. I mean, be a pure devotee, that's the best, but... So we need those blessings, and we could get them practically by our service, and we serve in different ways. Everybody is an individual. Not everybody's the same. I'll serve in a certain way, you'll serve in a certain way. We'll all serve in different ways, maybe. And we should all appreciate the services that each other do. Not that, so horrible attitude. Like so many times people, the pujaris and cooks and temple devotees, they don't appreciate the preachers who go out, on book distribution and harinam. And then the harinam and book distribution, they don't appreciate the temple devotees. And it's like, what is that? It's just weird. Krishna service is absolute. Krishna appreciates it, so we should appreciate each other's services. Why? Because it all goes on. It all goes on. It's all important. Everything anybody does. Somebody cleaning the bathroom. It's a very important service. If somebody could just clean the bathroom regularly in a wonderful way and chant 16 rounds and follow the 4 regulative principles and right. Surrender to Krishna. Wonderful. Or deity service or book distribution, preaching. So Prabhupada, he like he said, don't think that, cleaning the floor and at Krishna Balarama temple, he said, don't think that cleaning the floor and serving the deities are different. So they're not different. Krishna Balarama temple, it's black and white tile. And then Krishna Balarama, of course. The service is seen in the same light if it's done with devotion. So we should appreciate each other and try to get each other's blessings and by our service. And in this way, we'll actually be able to overcome all problems, all issues, and be freed from all material pangs, as Dhruva Maharaj's mother will be. And also devotees, they want, sometimes I was talking about how they just give up. Their determination becomes weak and they just give up. And mostly they're giving up because of, there's so many reasons they're giving up, but sometimes they have a hard time. They say, I have so many material desires. I have so many sinful desires. I have so many sinful desires, so I'm suffering because of that. And practically speaking, that's everybody. And interesting enough is that the sinful desire is actually a sinful reaction. Because of we did something foolish in the past, namely engage in sinful activity, that produces a desire within us to do it again, which is a cause of suffering, and it's actually a sinful reaction. So in other words, our desire for material enjoyment, our desire for our material desires, our sinful desires, it's actually a sinful reaction, and therefore we're suffering on account of it. So the point is that, okay, fine, but we're supposed to be tolerant. That's the point. We're supposed to be tolerant, humble and tolerant. So we have to also tolerate our conditioning. We have to tolerate our shortcomings due to previous activities. And why is that? Because if we don't tolerate, we'll just lose determination and give up. Okay, fine, I can't do it. So we just have to tolerate. And Tirtha Maharaj would bring this point up to me. He said that in the Christian world, they have this idea that everybody has to carry their own cross, which means that the cross means a heavy cross. It doesn't mean just like a light thing on your, like a necklace or something. It means like a heavy cross that you're carrying. So everybody has to carry certain conditioning, certain materialistic desires, and so on. And they have to suffer on account of that. And that's what Lord Brahma says. Lord Brahma says in the srimadbhagavatam, the 10th canto, he says, Te nukampam sushamikṣamano, that if a devotee, although, how does that go again? Te nukampam sushamikṣamano. Yeah, how's the English? The essence of the English? Yeah. So one who is tolerating their, the sinful reactions or the suffering that they're undergoing, which is due to its sinful reactions. That's the only reason people suffer. So, but if one who's suffering on account of that, but if they continue to pray to Krishna, to serve Krishna, bow down to Krishna, then and not give up the process, then the kingdom of God is their rightful claim. So they could achieve the spiritual world. And that is the highest perfection. And Dhruva Maharaj attained that, and his mother's also going to attain that soon. So, does anyone have any questions or comments? Yes.
There's kind of a dual thing that goes on. You were pointing out the need to somehow survive in Krishna consciousness, tolerate and make it through, and not just throw your hands up and go away. So that certainly, we have so many instructions, and that's a very important aspect, is, determination, utsaha nishchaya dharya. But at the same time, there's also, the encouraging side, neha brikkamanashosti, that even a little advancement protects you from the greatest fear. And the 6th chapter, even if you don't go back to Godhead, then nothing is lost. And that's also in Chak Vasudharma and Chadanama Janghara. So it's both sides, but as you say, especially, it depends on what context you're speaking in. It's good in an open forum where people are considering taking on, nothing is lost. Just chant 2 rounds a day, read Bhagavad Gita, and go to work. That's fine. But for someone who's made a commitment, is in the ashram, has been a devotee for many years, it's important to be able to tolerate the rough patches and continue on, because in the experience of ISKCON, it's just very rare. It's rare that someone will leave for any length of time, maybe go, and then come back and resume that same kind of level. Usually, the first thing to go is Mangalarti. It's just like, it's just impossible. They're around, but they'll just come to one part of the program, or maybe the Sunday feast, and it's just very rare that they then get back into a heavy thing. Usually there has to be some traumatic event in their life that again wakes them up to the importance of it.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't fall into that trap of thinking I can step back for a little bit, and then because Maya is so strong that it covers you and it weakens your determination.
Yeah, it's hard not to be insane in this age, actually. Not to go insane in this age because of the quality, the air quality, the water quality, the food quality, the amount of just everything, how the whole world's designed. It's actually hard not to go insane.
A lot of it is the internet.
Yeah.
Because just knowing so many things, and always, especially, if you're outside the temple, the exposure that you expect to be, willing to do for your own life. You get on the social media, and it's kind of a thing. I have a certain profile to maintain, and do people like me, and all this stuff. We never had that before. And then, knowing things like the anxiety level, meaning that, who knew what was happening, in Malaysia, but then you can read it and see the graphic things and see a little video of some kid getting crushed and killed or some mass destruction, that you didn't even know about before. And now that just adds into the whole sense of the whole world is falling apart, and my world is falling apart. This constant being on, and what is it? There's a certain... The fear of missing out, FOMO. Is it FOMO?
Yeah.
I think there's like a thing, just like there's NOLO, there's also FOMO. Oh, not NOLO, YOLO. You only live once, and FOMO, fear of missing out, is a big deal. They've done tests. They take they give kids $100 if you'll just stay, you turn in your phone for one day, and they measure the effect. And after 10 hours or 3 hours, this is all this anxiety that. The blood is, the blood pressure goes up. Fear of missing out.
Oh, fear of missing out. Interesting.
I've never been on Facebook, and now I've completely renounced even checking Facebook. Not forever. Maybe I can.
People. It's like. I don't know, they're very nice, and a lot of people are really nice and friendly and all that, but there's just like this weird thing in their mind, and and they start talking to you, and really everything's nice, and all of a sudden it's something, the elves are, they start talking about elves, like somehow elves are in their life or something, and just all this weird stuff, this, that, so many different things, so many weird things that they could bring up in a conversation, just like, oh man, like, where did this go? All this, you're talking all normal and nice, and all of a sudden you just start going off into all these, yes. Yeah, maybe.
I didn't think about elves.
I mean, to me, the elves looks amazingly similar to the
Oh, really? Okay.
the elves from Tolkien.
That's because when they painted the Gandharvas, the only model they had was the elf. In other words, what the Gandharvas actually do, they're singing. Yeah, but that's not what elves do.
Yeah, the elves from Tolkien.
Prabhupada, there was a man, he came to the temple. Anyways, this is kind of interesting, but he was actually coming to the temple, and then he went up to Prabhupada and he said, I want to light myself on fire. Can you give me some money? He asked Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada said, oh, how much do you need? and then the man said, oh, I need $5. And then Prabhu said something like, oh, well, ask our temple president, Brahmananda, And Brahmananda said, oh, Prabhu, we don't got any money, And then Prabhu said, okay, send him home to his mother, So then Prabhupada commented, he said, yeah, he's crazy. And then devotee said, oh, well, how do you know he's crazy? And Prabhupada said, well, I know he's crazy because he has $5 for gas. Gas is only 25 cents a gallon, Anyways. All right, all glories to Shri Shri Gaura Nitai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.